Hey guys, welcome back. I just want to start this particular one by saying something that nobody in the comments has mentioned. I was just thinking about it when I look at like other ASMR uh, videos, especially particularly ASMR girls, um, that they get, and this is not to at all diss any of them. They get dolled up, and that's for a reason. I'm not dumb. I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to disrespect them, discredit them, hate on them. No, I'm saying, and I don't know if you guys have noticed in the last couple of videos, especially, I've just been like coming on this channel like however I worn my PJs for the day because I film at night since baby girl is down. I'm just personally, I'm not into putting on makeup. I don't know if you guys can even tell. I don't even put on lip gloss anymore. What I have on my lips right now, shout out to Nicolette. It's just a natural mixture of, Nicolette's gonna kill me. I can't remember all of it. I know it has like beeswax and like essential oils and stuff in there like that. So I don't even care anymore. I'm here for the spirituality, and I'm here for hoping that these videos encourage someone to self-heal themselves. That's what I'm here for. I just wanted to start that off because I was thinking about that lately, and I was like, maybe is that why my channel isn't popping the way I'm hoping it to, but I don't really care. I want my channel to reach the people that it's supposed to reach. If I never reach 1 million subscribers, I'm personally okay with that. I want to heal people, or I'm sorry, I do eventually, but I want to help people go down a journey of self-healing and self-realization, so they can grow into their best version of themselves. So I'm just going to jump right into it. We are going to be reading the Edgar Cayce Guide to Self-Healing. Today we are reading chapter 13, and I had already saw it is a 23 page read. So this is I believe this is going to be a pretty long video, and I hope you stay tuned for the whole video. Alrighty, chapter 13, Attunement Through Meditation. In this chapter, we will study the method that Cayce used to achieve attunement or oneness with the divine healing force. We have already reviewed his concepts on the prerequisite attitude toward healing, but now it is time for us to go deeper into the trance state as Cayce practiced it and understood it. We will also learn how to achieve such a state ourselves thanks to the copious literature presently existing on this subject. The person who would become skilled at self-healing must understand and appreciate Cayce's philosophy of the unity of body, mind, and spirit. He must so train his consciousness that it is attuned to the necessary level wherein healing can be accomplished. That is why we speak of attunement as the path to healing. How does one go about attuning the self or preparing the self to be the channel of the healing force? The directions that Cayce gives us are quite simple, yet they are difficult. Cayce says that we can be a channel for healing if we think only constructive, loving thoughts, and if we live right day by day. He tells us that the Master gave his directions in just one commandment, visually. I really want to say that's visually because it's just VIZ, and that's an abbreviation for something. One commandment, visually, love one another. It was Cayce's belief that if we clear our minds of all thoughts save those which send out love, peace, and harmony, then we live the life. Cayce told his prayer group often that it would help others and be a blessing to mankind if its members came with a common sincerity of purpose, manifesting the love of the Master, losing themselves in love and service, leaving the results the increase to him. When we speak of attunement, we are speaking about a way of life Through the thousands of readings about health, past lives, and the like, and general philosophy of existence emerges that speaks to Cayce's ideas on life itself. One law which came to light at regular intervals was the fact that sickness is caused by sin. When asked about sin, Cayce said that all man's sin could be traced back to the self. When man uses his will, he becomes more of the earth enmeshed in its influences. But when man lets go of his will, as he does in sleep, his forces recuperate and his body becomes charged with divine power. What Cayce believed was that man could imitate this sleep state during his waking hours. This was what he did, and people said he was in a trance. He preferred to call it his meditation moments. He realized that infinite energy and creative force are always around us waiting to be used. By going into the meditative or trance state, we contact them by attaining the state of mind which allows these vibrations to flow through us. Then we direct them outward to others through a form of concentrated thought or meditation. Cayce taught that the patient's deeper consciousness was the recipient of this energy or force brought to them by the person in the trance state. For he believed that our higher minds are always sensitive to and conscious of universal forces and their presence. What the healer does through the meditative state is stimulate the patient's deeper or inner spiritual consciousness and aid his awareness. Thus, the person to be healed, whether it is the self or another, is helped by attuning himself to receive light, peace, and harmony. There is a 700-year-old Taoist manuscript called The Secret of the Golden Flower. In this book, you can read a statement that summarizes Cayce's method of self-healing. It says rather simply, if you will but meditate 15 minutes a day, you can set 10,000 lives at rest. Meditation or the trance state was used by Cayce not only to render himself at one with the creative force of the master, not only to reach the higher consciousness of his patients, but as we have seen elsewhere, also to acquire his information and his power. The sources of Cayce's knowledge we know was the universal storehouse of knowledge. He was able to answer questions relating to the creation of man, universal law, all physical laws in the earth. He could solve the most complex health problems in which man had become encumbered, and he could answer the most inane questions about the flaws of the body before him. And all of this from a man who never went past the 6th grade. The self-healer realizes now that we gain the consciousness of creative forces through prayer and meditation. This, of course, is not all there is to Cayce's teachings on self-healing. This knowledge must be applied in our everyday life. Our own healing process is heavily dependent upon how we live truth and how we serve our fellow man. For the readings of Cayce stress the fact that we serve God only as we serve our fellow man. Meditation then must be the foundation upon which we build our life as self-healers. For in meditation, man opens himself to those incredible powers which are the most overwhelming in the universe, as well as to all time, all space, and all levels of consciousness. Meditation is important to the self-healer because it is the way he will communicate with his source, with God. Whereas prayer is man talking to God, meditation is man listening for the voice of God to direct and guide him. All the spiritual giants of history learn to be silent and draw their strength from their silence. For it was through this trance state that they contacted the higher self and God. But meditation is not easy at first. It takes patience and discipline, as we will soon see. It demands the everyday discipline of sitting alone, adhering to a regularity that is inexorable. But once learned, the self-healer can use his meditation skill to listen with his entire being, and that is worth it all. Have you ever thought of how the trance state or meditation influenced the life of a great saint like Francis of Assisi? Assisi. It is said that as a young man he had indulged in all the pleasures of the flesh. After his first serious illness, civil war broke out in Sicily, and Francis responded enthusiastically to the prospect of going off to war. While he was still considering his choice, he went into a trance, a meditative trance. Some say he had a dream. He pictured himself standing in his father's shop when it suddenly turned into the stately hall of an unknown palace. The shelves gave way to stacks of shining shields, helmets, spears, and swords, which reared up to the ceiling. Which reached up to the ceiling. All were marked with the sign of the cross. As he gazed at them in wonder, he heard a voice say, "All this shall belong to thee and thy warriors." Relating the vision to the Sicilian War, Francis took it as an omen and at once rode farther south with his friends to enlist. He had scarcely left Assisi behind him. However, when his old illness returned, he spent the night in Spalletta in delirium of fever. While he was in a state of semi-consciousness, the same voice addressed him again, but with more seriousness. "You have misunderstood the apparition in Assisi. Go back to your native town. There it will be made known to you what you shall do." Against his own best feelings, Francis went back to Assisi. The third time he heard the voice, it said, "Francis, do you not see that my house is in ruins? Go and restore it for me." Sorry, I'm looking around. A neighbor must be cooking. It smells really good. Oh no, where was I? Francis then rebuilt the old church of Assisi, the first step on the path that ultimately led him to canonization and honors within his church. When we meditate or go into a deep state of relaxation, we are able to communicate with an intelligence infinitely higher than our own conscious state. Cayce's readings tell us quite directly that if we didn't put up such obstacles between ourselves and the creative forces, there would be nothing beyond our abilities. But the point we are making here is that Cayce teaches us that the power of self-healing can come to us only when we have arrived at a state of consciousness in which we will be able to handle it. God holds this power back from us until we are ready for it, because if received in a state of selfish desires and with a rampant ego, the power would be our undoing. When we have the correct attitude and are able to relax and slip into a meditative trance, we can reach the total entity and heal it. In the physical forces, Cayce says there are many disturbances and congestions caused by the body's closing itself towards those conditions which have become at times almost unbearable. When the individual seeks his own will, this is bound to happen. But through meditation, the individual can reverse the process and show the body that it has pain and sickness only because it has sought its own way of doing things, rather than following the laws of God and nature. Visions or meditative trances are very dependent for their efficiency on three things according to Cayce. First of all, there are the physical conditions of the entity, what his body balance is, and what type of environment he presently occupies. Then there is the subconscious. Here the conditions relating to the physical body and its actions manifest either through the mind or through what Cayce refers to as the elements of the spiritual entity. And finally, there is a projection from the spiritual forces superconscious to the subconscious of the individual. For those of us who have difficulty in understanding just what meditation is, it might be helpful to relate it in some way to a state of sleep. Although sleep and meditation or trance are quite different, they do have similarities. In Cayce's time, we did not know as much about meditation as we do now. Consequently, Cayce's meditative trance was often simply called a sleep state. Realizing this, the reader can definitely benefit from looking at what Cayce found so remarkable about the sleep state and how, to him, the meditative and sleep state look so similar. The common element between sleep state and meditative state for Cayce was the element of passivity, relaxation, and deep rest. He put a lot of stock in the dream state also and had much to say about that. But let's look at his comments on the sleep state first, always realizing that what he most likely meant was that state we now refer to as the meditative state. Sleep is that period when the soul takes stock of what it has acted upon from one rest period to another, drawing comparisons as it were that make for harmony, peace, joy, love, long-suffering, patience, brotherly love, and kindness, all fruits of the Spirit. Hate, harsh words, unkind thoughts, and oppressions are fruits of Satan. The soul either abhors what it has passed through, or it enters into the joy of the Lord. Sleep is a shadow of that intermission of life, or that state called death. The physical consciousness is unaware of existing conditions except for those senses which are on guard, working through the auditory sense. This is more universal in aspect. The organs governed by the subconscious continue to work. The sense of perception related to the brain is asleep. The auditory sense, however, is subdivided, and there is hearing by feeling, hearing through the sense of smell, the act of hearing by all the senses that are independent of the brain centers, but are rather of the limb centers or the entire sympathetic system, so that in sleep one is more aware even though the body physical is asleep. This, the sixth sense, is a part of the superconscious, which is the spiritual self ever on guard before the throne of the Creator itself. It is that which may be trained or submerged or left to its own initiative until it makes war with self, resulting in disease, temper, the blues or the grouches. This causes the brain to become so charged as to respond in the same manner as a string on a violin, which is tuned to vibrate sounds according to the tension. The sense that governs this is in touch with the higher self. There is ever, when the body is asleep, that other self which communes with the soul of the body. See? The sixth sense goes out at night to those realms of experience related to all levels of consciousness, all time, and to its own criterions. It would have had to be criterions. Yeah. I have to admit, they broke it up where I thought it was critter, but I was like, that's only one T. I'm sorry. Or its standards developed through the ages. As a result, through such comparisons and judging in sleep, peace or understanding may come. The spiritual-minded individuals are easily pacified in sleep or when awake. Why? Because they have set before themselves an ideal and criterion upon which they rely completely. Then through sleep, they enter into the silence. What does this mean? Entering into the presence of that which is their ideal, their God. In this last paragraph, Cayce gives us the insight into the value of the meditative state, namely that it is the pathway to enter into the presence of our ideal, which is God. Such is the goal of meditation for the self-healer, for it is his entrance into the divine power through which he heals. It was Cayce's belief that unless an individual is intending to improve his total spiritual life, his meditations would be a useless mishmash. If, however, the self-healer is seriously seeking God's will for himself, then the higher consciousness will monitor his trances and give him a clearer sense of direction in his everyday life. There is little value in learning how to meditate unless the self-healer actually sees the meditative state as an opportunity to change and improve himself. Cayce placed a lot of value on the dream state also. He saw all visions and dreams as being given for the benefit of the individual, as long as they are interpreted correctly. He even says that dreams are the activities in the unseen world of the other self. What other self? That which has been built by the soul's experiences as a whole in the material as well as the cosmic world, or it is a soul faculty of the soul body. Hence the subconscious is at rest. The other self communes with the soul body. It goes into those dimensions of consciousness where exists the record of all experiences, and it judges the person accordingly. Dreams do not come to the individual at will or on command. Cayce tells us that certain conditions have to be fulfilled. And for those self-healers who wish to utilize the dream state within the meditative state or within the sleep state, his words bear study. Dreams come to individuals when the conscious mind is subdued and the subconscious mind is in command. It is then through the subconscious mind of the soul that one is able to communicate with the subconscious minds of others, whether that mind is in the material world or in the cosmic or spiritual plane, death. The mother who is in the cosmic plane, being the person she is, made this contact. The mother sees, the mother knows, the mother has those same feelings of love which in the earth she expressed so well as to make the home a heavenly home. Although she is in the spiritual planes, she is yet able to be present in the minds and hearts of those who also express love. The kind of love the Master showed when he said he would prepare a home for those who would seek to love. Cayce teaches that through meditation we may come through living spiritual truths in our life. Through this will come power and divine forces that will bring peace and happiness. Are not these the reality of self-healing? I'm laughing because I'm highly for certain Erykah Badu is not going to see this. But I think for like the past couple of days, she's been posting on like her story. She'll post something and she'll say, and I know I'm jacking it up, but she's like, ain't that the steps? Ain't that the way? Something like that. And it just made me think of it just because she'll post something that's like actually encouraging people to better themselves, or she'll show something that is in the complete opposite of bettering yourself, and it's up to you as a person that's into spirituality or even just consciousness. You'll decipher which one it is. And I laugh at both because I can see both spectrums. Cayce teaches that through meditation we may come through living spiritual truths in our life. Through this will come powered and divine forces that will bring peace and happiness. Are not these the reality of self-healing? For when troubles, distresses, heartaches, and disappointments come, to whom may ye turn? Not to thyself, for this has been expended in the gratifying of thy desire. If ye have made these things that are temporal thy God. Only when love, patience, perseverance, long-suffering, and brotherly love are shown, we may know indeed upon whom to rely. For of such is the law of creation, of hope, of faith, of patience. And in patience ye possess the knowledge of thy soul. Then how gave he? Agree with thine adversary quickly. Now I'm smelling something burning. I don't know. It's weird. Then through the coming year, have this as thy meditation. The purpose of meditation is to seek union with the divine healer, and through the self to bring about conversation with God. Even as vibrations in self may be raised to that of the healing force which goes out from a soul to seek a union with those ills and individuals. Just so may the self raise within itself the consciousness which knocks at thy own heart, which would enter, which would tarry there. Keep that inner voice. Speak gently, speak kindly, knowing that in the very harmony of purpose, each may add his part to what would be accomplished in those seeking. They who would be healed must seek through these channels. Cayce tells us that we are a mind and a heart separated from God. It is to the great mind of God that our own mind must return. Our heart also must return to the great heart of God. We do this through meditation, relaxing ourselves and bringing the subconscious to the fore. Then our thoughts will share the thoughts of all creation, and our heart will beat with the heart of God. We would like at this point to go through a series of questions that were once put to Cayce about meditation and look and study his answers. Cayce covers quite a few interesting ideas about meditation, and his responses should serve the self-healer in his own quest for greater understanding of this important self-healing ritual. Question: what is the difference between prayer and meditation? Answer: prayer is supplication to God, and meditation is listening for his answer. Question: how much time should one spend in meditation each day? Answer: spend that time necessary to know that you are in good accord, but spend more time in carrying out the directions given in such periods. For unless one may make practical in daily life the tenets or teachings obtained by meditation, these are worth little to the entity itself. Question. Just what method should I use in healing? Answer. Just as has been given, and just as has been self's experience in the raising of consciousness of those whom the body or self would aid, even as it is done in self in the silence. As has been the experience, so the confidence grows in self in that direction. Confidence then pertains to the material or the physical sense, while faith is an attribute of the soul and spiritual body. Question. Just what should be the attitude of one holding the meditation when the one who is being helped goes into a sleep and is hard to rouse? Should he be allowed to sleep or be aroused after the meditation? Answer. Sleep, as we have given, is that state, physical, mental, and spiritual, where the soul, the entity, the mental body, may be more easily approached without risk of producing fear or any influence other than that in which greater help may come to the individual. Hence, it is well to meditate when the patient is in such a condition from the physical viewpoint. It is well after the meditation that arousal to physical consciousness be complete if the experiences are carried forward together. Question. How can I develop greater spiritual control over the mental body during meditation? Answer. The more firmly held the knowledge that the mental and physical body are surrounded and protected by the consciousness of the Master who gave, I will not leave thee comfortless, the greater will be the activity of spiritual forces in and through such bodies. Questions. Is there any advice to us concerning those whom we are holding in meditation? Answer. Be not as those who would pry into the affairs of individuals. Rather, seek to know those necessary elements in others' experiences, to unburden them of such conditions in their experiences. Know more about the things that hinder and that make those who seek afraid. For within the troubled heart come those experiences that make for doubts and fears. Consider the fact that even at the beck and call of the Master, and even in his presence, Peter began to sink. So we in the weakness of the flesh and in the face of doubt and fear often begin to sink and lose our way. Then when the group as a whole holds fast to those strengthening influences that make others know, yeah, a prayer is said, let there be seeking that the one who falters may be made strong in his might and his power. Let all remember too how this is the veil between the sublime and the ridiculous. Make not thyself absurd or ridiculous in thy own eye, nor in thy neighbor's eye. Keep in the way that makes for life everlasting. Question. What is the sensation I feel in my eyes at times of meditation? Answer. As manifested in the activities of those who would bring healing to others, healing of any kind must come in self first in order to be raised in another. This sensation is the healing in self, that raising of the vision which may heal others. Question. Please explain the pumping sensation I experience in the lower part of my spine during meditation. What should I understand from it? Answer. As has been given, certain forces in the system are the channels through which activating sensations rise for transmission to portions of the physical body which act to send out vibrations for healing. The pumping sensations then are but the examples, the attempts of those forces to rise and become active in the consciousness of the body. Do not force them, but so conduct the mind's trend in the body's activities as to leave self a channel for such expression. Question. Should one hold a healing meditation for others when mentally disturbed? Answer. Oft has it been given as to what may be accomplished. If the self is not in one-ment with the source of power and life or health, it is best that self in the mental plane set itself aright. For remember, the mental is the builder, whether in application of the physical or the spiritual forces. True, in meditation for others and for self, one may oft find relief for disturbance, but it is best to make all right before meditation when the disturbance arises from an incident in the experience in respect to association with another. Question. In healing, is it most paramount to have the body in perfect physical condition? Answer. One must raise self to that consciousness of physical perfection and spirit in order to give out the proper attitude or concept to another. Doubt never accomplished anything. Question: if the spoken word is stronger than the thought, why is it that I prefer to use the silent meditation? Answer: as has been given in respect to vibration, and each there is the sounding, as it were, of those elements manifested by the spirit in each individual's activity. So as to thyself, no fault may be found that this becomes a higher vibration to self than if the word were spoken. Nor does this alter the fact that it is true for more individuals that the spoken word makes a higher vibration. There exists just a condition or attunement. One, don't find fault or try to be like someone else or try to have someone else be like you. Be like him, all of you. Question: during meditation, I have experienced a strong vibration, the whole body vibrating. Please explain. And have I been able to direct this current to those whom we are trying to aid? Answer: when the vibrations are raised within self through this very visualization, and there is the experience of those activities taking place, the body and anyone can send, direct, or create an environment that is helpful, hopeful, and beneficial in every way for such a person to whom the thought is directed. Question: why should I feel a hesitancy in repeating and pleading for one who has asked for aid? I feel that I should ask in his name, believing it will be done. Answer: ask in his name only, believing, and it shall be done. This is an outcome or result of self's own development. And as given at the beginning, let no one come condemning himself for that which is within himself, and also let no one come in arrogance as to what is necessary for another to reach the same attunement. Physically, there may be an illustration in this. Attunements on any two radios may be somewhere near the same point, but no two radios will ever be in exactly the same ratio, for their positions alter the ratio, even when they set side by side. In like manner, individuals attuning their soul consciousness to the divine within must attune according to their own development. Question: what is the significance of the flashes and forms which I frequently see? Answer: those of the higher vibrations of the between, as well as the spiritual forces taking form within or before the mental self. Question: isn't there some way of knowing that results have been accomplished while treating a patient? Answer: by their fruits ye shall know them. When actual physical results are seen in the lives which are being aided in their consciousness, then there are actual physical results as viewed from a material mind. As has been given before, many a load has been lifted for a brother and friend by prayer and meditation. That's my boyfriend washed all of my breast pump gear, and that was the sanitation thing going off. Question: how may one train the sixth sense? Answer: this has just been given, that which is constantly associated with the mental visioning and the imaginative forces that will it develop toward. What is that which is and may be sought? When under stress, there are no individuals who haven't at some time been warned of that which may arise in their daily or physical experience. Have they heeded? No, it must be experienced. Question: please explain the sensations during meditation when I felt a vibration running through the body, ending in a sort of fullness in the head. Answer: when considered from the purely scientific or from a metaphysical standpoint, these various vibrations as given represent activities that are being roused within. They are active forces emanating from life itself within. Then these widen, become all-embracing. Hence, a better understanding should be gained, and they should be used either to disseminate and bring healing, or to raise the forces in self. When you are able to raise these vibrations within yourself for the disseminating center on the eye, your body then becomes a magnet which may, if properly used, bring healing to others by laying on of hands. This is the way in which such healing becomes effective, by the laying on of hands. Question: Please describe further the different circular vibrations which are experienced during meditation, especially when felt in the lower part of the body. Answer. This may be explained both from a metaphysical and from a purely scientific viewpoint. It would be well for those who experience such sensation not to become confused by interpretations of experiences of others in the group. Each person must remember that the vibration is a spiritual influence or a force that may emanate from life itself. Then consider our words from the viewpoint of both science and metaphysics as just given. When an emanation or vibration arises, it may act upon those centers in the human body which are sensitive to those vibrations. Hence, one may not perhaps become aware of such vibrations being present, or they may not become apparent. When they are interpreted properly, the individual's ability is raised to an awareness of influences from without and from within. These sensations, spiritualized, may be sent out as thought waves, as a force in the activity of universal or cosmic influence. Thus, they have their effect upon those to whom, by suggestion, they are directed. In respect to the varied motions as we understand them, such forces arise, as all things spiral would, within the one who desires to become aware of this emanation, this vibration, or force as an activity within. Do not use such vibrations to self's undoing by attempting to make self other than a channel for aid to another. Question. Should all treatments be made with or through one of the three vibrations of 3 dimensions? Answer. Either through one or all 3, depending as has been given in the classifications of the 3, upon the consciousness necessary to be raised in the one who seeks. For he took individuals where they were in their own environment, their own surroundings, and he transmitted to their consciousness either by act, word, or deed what was needed to waken or allow the awakening so that healing might be brought to those who sought it. Question. Are time, space, and patience needed for meditation? Answer. Time, space, and patience then are those channels through which man as a finite mind may become aware of the infinite. For each phase of time, each phase of space is dependent as one atom upon another. And there is no vacuum for this, as may be indicated, and the universe is an impossibility with God. Then there is no time, there is no space. When patience becomes manifested in love, inasmuch as in the same manner you treat your fellow man, you treat your problem, you treat your enemy, you are doing unto your maker. For he too is a part in time and space of that influence you worship. Question. How may I project through the meditation a counterpart of my conscious awareness to any given place desired and comprehend or even take part in events there? Read what we have been, answer. Read what we have been just giving, what we have just been giving. This is an explanation of how. For it takes first spirit and mind form and may be aware of the elements in space, for time and space are the elements of man's own concept of the infinite and are not realities as would be any bodily element in the earth, as a tree, a rose, a bird, an animal, as even a fellow being. Yet just as body may in its own material mind visualize, draw a concept of an incident that has happened in time, so may the body in spirit and in spiritual mind project itself, be conscious of elements, be conscious of form by and through spirit mind as pattern in a conscious mind. Mind then becomes as a stream with its upper and lower stratum, with that which moves swiftly, or that which is resting upon either spirit or physical being. These come then as flashes to a conscious mind. They may be gradually sustained, just as mind may be projected. Here we will have an illustration in a camp near this particular spot or place ye occupy. There has been a gift taken by someone else. There will be a projection of the thought. This must be returned, and it will be. For here we have the parties to this. Yep. To this physical condition existent, right and wrong, good and bad, spirit, mind, and body. They are parts of this happening, and it is now being replaced. Meditation then is very important to anyone interested in self-healing. Through meditation, we contact the divine power and we bring the self into position with the healing forces. A lot of sickness, Cayce maintains, is caused by sin. When asked about sin, Cayce said that all man's sin could be traced back to self. That is why the self is so important in the meditative process, for it is given an opportunity for cleansing and purification. When man commits sin, he pushes the self in the wrong direction, away from God. He becomes more of the earth and enmeshed in its influence. When man approaches the divine power in meditation, he relinquishes his will as he does in sleep. So his forces recuperate and his body is charged with the power of the divine healer. This then is the therapeutic effect of meditation. We would now like to give the self-healer a very practical method of meditating. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard something. I think I did it. I think I heard a knock. Not like a knock on our door, but like a bump or something. Oh, that actually spooked me. I was so into the reading, it spooked me. This then is the therapeutic effect of meditation. We would now like to give the self-healer a very practical method of meditating, which in reality is a method of self-hypnosis. As we all know, Cayce used self-hypnosis to reach his subconscious, and through it was able to achieve at will a self-imposed hypnotic trance. Why do we equate hypnosis that is self-induced with meditation? As today's current literature on meditation explains, the popular methods of meditation are all based and rooted in self-hypnosis. So there should be no surprise that we offer you a way to meditate that shares in what the common elements of today's meditative practices are made of. Some people shrink when they hear the word hypnosis. Perhaps not as much today, since it is becoming quite well accepted even by the American Medical Association and various organized religions. One thing we know, hypnosis was not a bugaboo to Edgar Cayce, and through it, he achieved genuine miracles for himself and others. To bring about true self-healing, as understood and taught by Cayce, a person must learn self-hypnosis or meditation, and he must practice it several times daily until he is able to reach his subconscious mind. Only then will he be able to effect healing at will, provided, of course, that he intends to make contact through the meditative procedure with the divine healer. The first thing then is to set aside a special time daily. Say about 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the noontime, and again 15 minutes in the late evening before retiring. Choose an easy chair, a quiet, darkened room, and get away from all distractions such as the phone, doorbell, etc. Now close your eyes and settle back and relax. Start relaxing from the head down. Simply follow this procedure, saying the words to yourself in your mind. Muscles in the crown of the head relax and grow limp. Muscles in the scalp relax and grow limp. Muscles in the face relax and grow limp. Muscles in the eyes relax and grow limp. Muscles in the cheeks relax and grow limp. Muscles in the nose and ears relax and grow limp. Muscles in the mouth relax and grow limp. Muscles in the jaw relax and grow limp. Muscles in the back of the head relax and grow limp. Muscles in the neck relax and grow limp. Muscles in the throat relax and grow limp. Muscles in the shoulders relax and grow limp. Muscles in the chest and stomach relax and grow limp. Muscles in the upper back and lower back relax and grow limp. Muscles in the arms, hands, and fingers relax and grow limp. Muscles in the thighs relax and grow limp. Muscles in the legs and calves relax and grow limp. Muscles in the feet and toes relax and grow limp. 2. Now just breathe deeply and relax, clearing your mind of all thoughts and upsets. 3. Now repeat the entire process as described above. You don't have to memorize anything, just do it naturally, starting at top. 4. Now having done the relaxation twice, slowly count backwards from the number 50 to 0. Take your time and relax as you do so. 5. When you complete this, you will be totally relaxed and in a kind of dream state. Stay there as long as you want. 6. To come out, simply count from the number 1 to 5. telling yourself that you are coming out and are feeling fine, relaxed, and in wonderful health. This procedure should be done 3 times a day for a complete week. If you can do it more often, great. By the end of 7 days, you should be able to go as deep as you want and with no difficulty at all. After a week, you go through the whole procedure for another week, except that you do not do the relaxation of the muscles twice, but only once, along with the countdown. Do this three times a day for another week. Then, after this final week, you do the exercise again once more, but this time when you are completely relaxed, you tell yourself that you can reach this state and even deeper by simply putting a hand on your shoulder. And amazingly, this is all it will take to bring you to the trance state, provided you have faithfully practiced the routine over the 2-week period. When you have become accomplished at going into a trance, you can stay as long as you want and do all your healings in that state. It is suggested that you visualize a screen in your mind and picture your clients or yourself encircled in a green light or a white light. That symbolizes the energy that you are projecting into your clients. You can do as Cayce did and reach the subconscious mind of others or tap into the universal subconscious. But as Cayce warns, all this takes patience and practice. But if you are schooled in the thoughts and ideals of Edgar Cayce, there is no reason you cannot achieve the miracles of healing he did. We would like to close this important chapter with an observation to the self-healer that comes from the readings of Edgar Cayce. The meaning of self-healing, as in the many that have been given thee, is to be gained in thy own inner understanding by the closer walk with him and by the meditation within thy own self. As the way is open, there is shown thee step by step that thou hast a work to do, a service to render in his name. For let each keep this ever before self. Though chosen as a channel of thyself, thou mayest do nothing. The Spirit of the Christ working in and through thee will bring the fruits of the Spirit through the experience of the ones thou wouldst lead to the light. In leading others, thou gainst thyself. Okay. All right, everybody. That was chapter 13. Next time I join you, I will be reading the last chapter of the book, which is chapter 14. And then I actually have quite a few spiritual books that I got many years ago, and I actually just never read them. But I would say I did myself a disservice not reading them years ago, because my higher self clearly wanted these books, and I just never read them. But I'm going to go ahead and close off there. Beautiful beings, please, please, please take care of yourselves. Love yourself. Love your neighbors. Love your family members. Even if you can't love them near you, love them from afar. Give them that love. Show them without even having to show them that you love them. Because there are people in my life that I'll admit, I can't be around them physically. Everybody has those family members where you're like, I will always love you from another state. But take care of yourselves. Be well, okay? Bye.